be kind of converging with search in this way?
Yeah, I mean, search, everyone, when they think of search in general, they're typically thinking of Google search engine's results page, right? But search goes far beyond that. There's search on YouTube. There's when people are looking for an instructional video on how to do something, or they're searching for an artist or whatever they want to listen to. But then there's also search now on social platforms for commerce like TikTok Shop. So, and I know especially with Gen Z, search volume is really rising on TikTok. It's not really just for shopping. It's actually for things to do whenever they're traveling or looking for a new restaurant in a certain area. So search volume is tremendous there. And yeah, exactly. And you have to think about like product listings, SEO strategy on your TikTok shop, much like you would on your own brand's website.
Right.
So if you don't have that figured out, when people are searching for either your brand's name or the category of the products that your brand sells, if your product listings aren't optimized for TikTok SEO, your competitors are going to appear before you. And what's so great about, and then there's Amazon search too, which is huge, pretty similar to TikTok Shop. But yeah, I mean, like I know of brands that are getting a ton of organic revenue on their TikTok Shop without even spending $1. It's purely from organic search when people are searching for products that the brand sells.
Sure. And you're mentioning a lot about TikTok, but what about like YouTube? What about YouTube and the other platforms that are being
YouTube is huge, not just because there's a ton of search volume on YouTube, but when people are searching on Google, your YouTube videos, if they're properly optimized for SEO, they're going to show up on the Google results page too.
Sure.
So it's like a way of placing your own business's videos on the regular search engine is paramount. So you have to think about the title of the video, the description of the video, making YouTube playlists. And essentially the way that I talk to businesses, it's like whatever you want to be known for as a business, you need to have a strategy, a content strategy, both written and in video form. And whatever that strategy is and what you want to be known for and the reputation that you want to have publicly, that needs to get injected into, like if you're doing video, into the title, into the subheading there in the description. And that way you're appearing all over. So,
yeah. I mean, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, so it very much needs to be treated as that from a platform perspective. But even Gen Z is like generationally speaking, in terms of how each of us get and seek information. Gen Z uses TikTok and Instagram, 40% is that preference over Google, so that shift of how people are, trusting different outlets to get information, that's a big transformation from where we were, just 5 years ago. But also I think visual search is a big change that's also happening. Like growing preferences around things like Google Lens, where you want to maybe, I saw this great picture of somebody and I want to see like, where do I get those pair of jeans or like that shirt, to be able to, have that stuff processed, to find exactly what I'm looking for just through an image, or eventually like glasses or, like what's in front of me. I think that's a pretty transformative area of search and social as well.
Yeah, I saw, I think it might have been, it was either Samsung or I can't remember what phone provider it was, but I did see an advertisement the other day where it showed a woman who was scrolling through, Pinterest or Instagram or something, and saw a shirt that said one of a kind. And she makes a comment of like, haha, yeah, I bet. And she circles it, like uses her finger and circles it on the actual phone screen. And it just searches it and pulls it right up for her. Which is really cool and definitely minimizes the time spent actually used to search for stuff. You talked about visuals. I would also just like to ask, on TikTok specifically, there's a lot of like audio being used, right? There's all kinds of trending audio all the time. How is that kind of playing a part in kind of the SEO rankings and all that?
Yeah. The audio, you could always take a look at what audio is currently trending. So like when we're putting together content briefs for our clients on TikTok, we always do audio research. So like the trending sounds or the trending audio is always heavily favored in the TikTok algorithm, what's going to appear on that For You page. So if you want to increase your chances of going viral organically on the TikTok platform, you need to have that in mind. And it changes. The trending audio changes on a weekly basis. You always need to be on top of what it is. And a little hack, even if it's like you don't want audio drowning out kind of like what the content is being said on the video, then you just turn the volume down either all the way to 0 or just turn it down very light so it's like very subtle. But TikTok's algo still picks up the audio, and they're like, oh, people are going to want to hear this because that's what other people are enjoying right now. And then that's a kind of way of gaming the algorithm from an SEO perspective.
That's a really good tip.
Yeah.
Very cool. Neka, I'm curious to hear from you. Oh, Johnny, did you have something else to add to that?
Actually, it was more around voice search. Like, I was curious just to, from you all's perspective, I'm sure all of us have some sort of smart speaker, or use Siri or Alexa. But, I was reading, Consumer Trend Report. It was over half of Americans use voice search on their phones every week, and I think that is a really important shift of how we have turned to use devices as like personal assistants and extensions of us. And I think, how does that play into search of, Google patterns or social media patterns? So those are something else to consider that was kind of related in the audio space that you mentioned.